Gita, letters on yoga, human cycle, Indian culture, future poetry, on himself and complete works, and so on and so on. He has written many short poems in many languages and so on, but the magnum opus came with Savitri. He started conceptualizing about Savitri and thinking about Savitri because after coming during Baroda days, he read almost every mythological thing which was available to him. He learned Sanskrit on his own. He produced a Sanskrit Dirgha Kavya also that is there. And he started thinking about Savitri. And then gradually Savitri started growing with consciousness. So, can we define Savitri? The answer is no. But can we say something which will at least help us to take a candle and go towards the sun? Savitri is a revealed poetry, inspired poetry. What is revealed poetry? It is like Vedas. We know that Vedas were not written, they got written. Means the mind is silent. Pragyan goes to the higher realms, gets the avalanche of thoughts and realizations, and the words just flow. But can you imagine how difficult it is? Because there is an imagination, there is an idea. To put that idea into words is such a wonderful and beautiful and at the same time so very difficult task. Isn't it a big adventure? It's not an adventure of fighting with the sword or playing on the playground. It's an adventure of consciousness. So the first thing we have to understand is, basically, everything has arisen from a consciousness. Tat was a consciousness who was Achintya, alone, absolute, and he was potential. Tat thought, now I will diversify and become many. So Tat manifested. How does it manifest? If it is potential and static, there is no movement. For manifestation, it requires movement. So a movement he calls Prakriti. And Prakriti is the movement, the force, and it goes on. But the beauty is that is singular, that has no alternative. But when he manifests, it is diverse. It is multi-dimensional, going away, speed is different, everything becomes. But these unequal parts are just a little manifestation of that with immense, infinite possibilities. And that is where is the approach to Savitri. First and foremost, we have to realize the whole Brahman, the whole cosmos is nothing but consciousness. First is consciousness, and from that consciousness comes everything else that we can see, we can imagine, we can think, we can do whatever. So everything has come from that consciousness. It is a revealed poetry, inspired poetry. That is the reason why it took nearly 4 decades for completion. Because Sri Aurobindo is right at night. Whole night he would be doing like movements like this, getting the inspiration and writing. But as I said, the point is the realization and the words, if they were not sufficient to communicate, then he would rewrite it again. So that's why it is called as the labor of God. God's labor. God has descended to humanity on that terrestrial life and is taking the adventure of consciousness, doing so much labor that continuously there is revision. And when it comes to the revealed poetry of a realizations which are coming from different realms, why it should not become mantric? So Savitri is a mantric poem. The only epic in English literature which is mantric in its effect. Mantric means the sound. I'm not an expert in Sanskrit, but I think there is a thing. In Sanskrit, they have this connotation that whatever are the syllables, finally it is the sound which has to be there. Because when you write, you lose the sound effect. And when you talk, you do not have the posterity. And all sound, this is what is again recurring in Savitri. Everything was there in creation. Missing was the word, that is Shabda. What is Shabda? The primary spandan, the primary vibration, and that is Om. One Om is, see, Brahman had nothing. There was absolutely this thing. That said, let there be creation. And the first sound that was produced is Shabda, that is Om. From there, the flow started, the vibration started, and the creation took place. It is blank verse, but very, very lyrical. Each sentence is worth meditation. And mind you, sometimes the sentence is so long, it may be 1 page long. And sometimes the stanza may be few pages stanza. So you have to hold your breath, continue, and this. But Mother said, Savitri cannot be read. Means you have to pray to the divine to give you the way to go. We can say that it is not a book to be read, it is a landscape to be walked in. You can open any page and start reading. You may find something which really appealing, which you can manage and make it up. The Savitri is not to be read, it is not to be understood, it is to be realized. So unlike most of the other poems or other things that we have got, Savitri has got some special things. One thing, the protagonist is a woman. In no other epic, the protagonist is a woman. Most of the epics are titled over some sort of incident. Let it be Ramayana, Mahabharata, Iliad, Odyssey, Paradise Lost, anything. It's an event which is more important. A few are there which are there. Protagonist is a woman, that is one thing. It is shortest in duration. The poem Savitri begins at dawn and ends at dusk. No other epic is so short as that. So that's another thing. Savitri is a different type of thing because primarily it is a lyric of love. Love conquering death and going to bring down divine consciousness to the terrestrial consciousness. So in short we can say, Savitri is also whatever is given in life divine in prose, in synthesis of yoga, and it is integral yoga also which is happening through the lyrical poem of Savitri. And unlike other yogas, integral yoga has got two manifestations, as I said. One is achieving that silence. Secondly, ascent and descent. Continuously the consciousness has to be raised. It has to learn something, but it cannot stay there. Because if you have learned and if you stay there, you are not doing the good thing. You have to come down again rise. So integral yoga is constant ascent and descent and going from realizations to realizations. It is transformation. What is the aim of integral yoga? Is the climb in evolutionary ladder. Because Sri Aurobindo and the Mother have complete faith and have given us one thing. Man is not the highest in creation. So far man looks highest, but evolution has not stopped at the level of man. So beyond Homo sapiens, there is evolution possible, and that is the evolution to supramental life, and to bring down that supramental life to earth consciousness is the whole adventure of consciousness, which is the mantric poem of Savitri. Here I'll quote only a few line excerpts from Savitri. All can be done if the God touch is there. One sentence, so beautiful, isn't it? All can be done if the God touch is there. That means a human can rise to that level, to challenge fate and time, to bring down somebody who is gone, and all can be done if the God touch is there. How can Savitri do it? What does she have? Savitri is a princess of Mathura, and her education is wonderful. She has learned from every walk of life. She has learned from the wood. She has learned from the trees and plants and birds and flowers and animals and rishis. She has learned and learned. And she has learned to what stage? She found that the mantra is sinking in yoga sphere. What is it? Here yoga is personalized. Yoga is in capital letter, it is personalized. One who is doing yoga has become yoga. And the whole cosmos is teaching. And that is sinking into the yoga as a mantra. That is one of the lines in Savitri. So what does she have? A solitary mind, a worldwide heart. Mind is solitary, worldwide heart. To the lone immortal's unshared work she rose. She is rising to the lone immortal's work. We are immortal, but we don't realize. She rose because her soul is rising. Her soul arose, confronting time and fate. See, the emphasis is so beautiful. Her soul arose, an individual microcosm soul is rising to confront time and fate. Kalala Zundadevi. Destiny, Niyatila Zundadevi. In vernacular, we have three words: Prarabdha, Bhagya, and Niyati. In English, we have only fate and destiny. I believe Prarabdha is something we are born with, that is the potential. Bhagya is something we create, and destiny is something which is totally universal, in which we may also become a part of it. Her soul arose, confronting time and fate. This was the day Satyavan was died. So that whole epic comprising of 12 books, 49 cantos, the first book and the first canto ends in this. This was the day Satyavan was died. And that is why a solitary mind, a worldwide heart, to the lone immortal's unshared work she rose. Her soul arose, confronting time and fate. This was the day Satyavan was died. So Savitri tells her mother-in-law that she wants to go to the wood with Satyavan, because till then she had not gone out. She had grown up there. As I said, she traveled a lot and she educated herself. What is the way Savitri has grown? There she had grown to the stature of her spirit. We all educate ourselves. We think that we are educated. We have got a degree, this, that, everything. We have a CV to complete and whatnot. That becomes absolutely futile when we find this sentence. Savitri's education, there she had grown to the stature of the spirit. From being to become a genius of titanic silences. Few words, but imagine the effect. Love in her was wider than the universe. She was a young maiden of maybe something like 17 to 19 years of age. Love in her were wider than the universe. The whole world could take refuge in her single heart. Matri Shakti descended into this terrestrial life, and with universal love in her heart, her single will oppose the cosmic rule. There is so much love that the whole universe can be embraced by that. And how courageous is she? Her single will oppose the cosmic rule. She can challenge the destiny, she can challenge fate, she can challenge time, because she says, my will is greater than my fate. This is what is Savitri. Her single will opposed the cosmic root to stay the wheels of doom. This greatness rose. Everybody takes it for granted. Doom is must. Doom is there. Doom cannot be. Now this single spirit rises up to stay the wheels of doom. And that is courage. Two attributes Mother has always said which is required if you want to take up anything in this life is love and courage. Only two things. What was she? A flaming warrior from eternal peaks. She is become energy herself. She is like a flaming warrior from eternal peaks, empowered to force the door denied and closed. The door which was closed to humanity by the darkness, by mortality. Now she has there. She wants to force that door open. Smote from death's visage, its dumb absolute. She is snatching life from death's visage and bringing it back. Smote from death's visage, its dumb absolute, and burst the bounds of consciousness and time. See the words which flow with such force, beautifully. Empowered to force the door denied and closed, smote from death's visage, its dumb absolute, and burst the bounds of consciousness and time, because she has no other thing. She is going to bring him back. And in Savitri, whenever you read, you will find, actually, when she is traveling with death and the soul of Satyavan, she has to come out of her physical body. And the physical static body of Savitri becomes an energy, and she is now going and following. And that is extremely beautiful. It gives me shudders if you start thinking about that. Then describing life in a very beautiful way. What is life? Everybody sits here, everybody discusses, talks, and have you ever seen what is life? How? Sure, we will describe it. Life, the recurring beat that moments God in time. We all have a recurring beat, that is our hearts. So everybody is having this one heart and is beating. But now when it is universal, it's beautifully said, the life is recurring beat that moments God in time. It's not passing time, it's momenting God in time. In the whole thing, when Savitri is doing the tapasya, what was missing? As I said, only missing was the soul timeless word. That Shabda was missing. That carries eternity in its lone sound. One Om, and it carries eternity in a single sound. The idea of Tat, which is self-luminous. The idea self-luminous, key to all ideas. The integer of the Spirit's perfect sum. Spirit is a perfect sum. We all are imperfect, but we can realize that perfect sum. The integer of the Spirit's perfect sum that equates the unequal all to the equal all. Yoga is nothing but joining the unequalness, the division, the differences, the fractions to the one that is Tat. A single sign interpreting every sign. So in integral yoga, there is no tradition, there is no rule, nothing. Everybody can follow one's own way because it is a consciousness which is required to work. An absolute index to the absolute. So, describing what is this world? Everybody has many views. This world is like that, today this is happening, not happening, etc., etc. We have all the channels telling us all the humbug in the world. How it is described by Narad in Savitri. This world was not built with random bricks of chance. This world was not built with random bricks of chance. A blind God is not destiny's architect. A conscious power has drawn the plan of life. There is meaning in every curve and line. It is an architecture high and grand, by many named and nameless masons built, in which unseeing hands obey the unseen, and of its master builders, she is one. Narad is describing what is Savitri. master builder of the architecture of life across eons. Now, how does it happen? That transformation occurs in a woman who was just the other person in that day. She was a normal human being who wanted to marry Satyavan. In spite of the warning by Narad, what transformed her? So, descriptions. A magic leverage is suddenly got. There comes sometimes a moment in life, a magic leverage is suddenly got, that moves the veiled ineffable's timeless way. Alipurji, the Bhakta is challenging Bhagavan. If you are there, prove that you are there. So Savitri is challenging and asking death. In Savitri, there is no word as Yama. Yama is a different concept. The word is death. Death will be kept. But how to do it? Very simple. A prayer, a master act, a king idea can link man's strength with the transcendent force. A magic leverage is suddenly got that moves the veiled ineffable's timeless will. Veiled, that we don't realize. But if that is there, and how to do it? A prayer, a master act, a king idea can link man's strength to the transcendent force. It is possible. And this is what is the message. That if there is a prayer, if there is a master act, if there is a king idea, and the surrender to the divine, with love and courage in ourselves, there is nothing a human being cannot do. It is possible. And that's where ultimately what is the thing is, why should we do all this? To bring divine life on earth. So integral yoga is a total transformation of human nature. Because evolution has not yet stopped. And this transformation is unconsciously also going on, because in Synthesis of Yoga he writes, all life is yoga. And second line is, consciously or unconsciously, yoga of nature is continuously going on. But if we do it consciously, the velocity and speed and velocity may become increased. We might get more kinetic energy out of the potential once we have. Now, what is the difference between love that occurs everywhere in the world? Love, 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 this way, cinema, that. Is that really love? The answer is probably no. Everybody wants to have love, but do they really love? The answer is no. What happened in case of Savitri? Love came to her hiding shadow, death. When they met for the first time, Satyavan and Savitri, on the borders of a beautiful forest, without a single word, they realized that God is there. And that is such a wonderful thing one has to read it to understand. That the vibrations that came, that caused the strings of the heart to dance in a rhythm, in the same rhythm the two hearts are dancing. They have not yet talked, they have just seen each other. So love came to her, hiding the shadow death. And what is death? Death stays the journeying discoverer life. That means death is not a reality. Death is only a phenomenon which can be conquered, which can be transgressed. Death stays the journeying discoverer life. Life is perpetual discovery, but perpetual growth. Universal in this way, that is sarvabhaumik, and supramental in this way, because we rise above. So this agam nigam is continuously going on, being to becoming, being to becoming. But once that being becomes so very this thing that it grows with the prayer, with the master and the king idea, death can be stayed too. Because death is only a phenomenon. It is just staying the discoverer, which is life. Life is perpetual discovery, perpetual movement, perpetual universalization of consciousness, and perpetual growth towards the divine. So Mother says, at any time, any age, anywhere, You stop growing and then only you become old. If you do not do that, progress and development can occur at any time. We are coming to the close of this because I said Savitri is a lyric of love, which is the truth. In the book of love, the beautiful description is that when these two souls have met, what has transpired between them? Two lines, but absolutely phenomenal in expression. A moment passed that was eternity's ray. Between four eyes, the gaze, a moment passed that was eternity's ray. An hour began the metrics of new time. So the Eternal's delegate, that is Satyavan, Surya Kanya, the delegate of Aditi Mother, were here, and they exchanged gaze. They recognized each other in this world also. A moment passed that was eternity's ray, an hour began the metrics of new time. Saga of Satyavan and Savitri, put down in the epic of poem Savitri, is what Sri Aurobindo and the mother have lived life, and they are continuing to live with us because they have not left us. They have given us all these things to read, to meditate, to think, to understand, and to pray and aspire for something different. So one can say that Savitri is an epic, not written, but actually it is an inspired and revealed poetry. It's a lyric of love, immortality of spirit, of truth, of beauty, of Ananda, all wrapped in cosmic poetry across time and space. It is Ananta and infinite. That is, it is both eternal and infinite. It continues because this saga cannot end. Evolution is still continuing. So that is all. In extreme brief, this is Savitri. So Mother has said this is supreme poetry revealed in words. So this is only by sadhana, by prayer, by aspiration, when we can march and get the feel of the landscape of something called as Savitri. It's beautiful, friends, and just pray and go through it if you want to. And that's all I have to say.
Savitri cannot be read. It is to be realized. What a profound thought. Ma'am, your discourse reminded me of Sri Aurobindo's lines, and I quote, "India of the ages is not dead, nor has she spoken her last creative word. She lives and has still something to do for herself and the human peoples." Unquote. Thank you, ma'am, for your erudite deliberation. There is certainly a takeaway for all of us here. Let us work as we pray, for indeed work is the body's best prayer to the divine. Quotes the mother. I must say all our erudite speakers have certainly taught us one thing. Our aim should be to make our life divine, to make our character sublime, to sharpen our intellect and to purify our hearts. The essence of life is not in what we accumulate, but in what we give, quotes Rashtrasanta Tukadoji Maharaj. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. I now request Dr. Manjushri Sardeshpande ma'am to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Smita. Friends, we'll all agree that this was really mesmerizing. Honorable Shri Gautam sir, distinguished faculty members, dear students, and all lovers of literature. It is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this momentous occasion of celebrating 75 years of Savitri, the immortal epic by Sri Aurobindo. Today's program, organized by Rashtrasanta Tukaroji Maharaj Nagpur University's Postgraduate Teaching Department of English, in collaboration with R.S. Mulle Dharampet Arts and Commerce College, has truly been an intellectual and spiritual celebration. I extend our deepest gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Manali Kshirsagar Ma'am, for her inspiring leadership and constant encouragement in promoting literary and cultural scholarship. Her presence itself elevates every academic endeavor. Our heartfelt thanks to our distinguished speaker, Archana Chaudhuri Ma'am, whose insightful reflections on Savitri illuminated the philosophical depth, poetic grandeur, and timeless relevance of Sri Aurobindo's vision. Her words have enriched our understanding and stirred our inner consciousness. We are deeply honored by the gracious presence of our guest of honor, Advocate Ullas Aurangabadkar sir, whose unwavering support towards educational initiatives continues to inspire institutions like ours. My sincere appreciation to Dean Shamrao Kureti sir for his valuable guidance and institutional support in making this program a success. I also express gratitude to Dr. Sanjay Palwekar sir and the entire team of Postgraduate Teaching Department of English for conceptualizing and meticulously organizing this celebration. Special thanks to Principal Vishakha Joshi ma'am for her wholehearted cooperation and for fostering a spirit of academic collaboration between our institutions. I am immensely grateful to Shri Gautam Singh ji sir for inspiring us to organize this program. I extend appreciation to all faculty members, research scholars, students, and the organizing committee whose dedicated efforts worked silently yet powerfully behind the scenes. As we conclude this celebration of 75 years of Savitri, may we carry forward its message of aspiration, transformation, and divine love into our academic and personal lives. With heartfelt gratitude to one and all, I thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success.